Hello, this is DM Rob G, and welcome to Pokemon Fire Red Nuzlocke Edition. The basic rules are as such. I can catch only one Pokemon per route, and if I happen to knock out that Pokemon, it's gone. I cannot catch another Pokemon on that route. There is also a duplicate clause where if I have a Pokemon of a certain evolution chain, I can elect to skip any further Pokemon of that chain. So for example, if I have a Pidgey and I run across a Pidgeotto, then I can skip that Pidgeotto. Now, if it faints, it is gone. It goes into a special box where I keep track of how many Pokemon have fallen during my journey. As for the healing items, I can allot myself 2 healing potions per battle. However, this increases by 1 if a Pokemon were to pass out. There are to be no X items. I can give Pokemon 1 stat boosting item, such as 1 protein, and as a special bonus, I am naming all my Pokemon after Kaiju. This can be, for example, a partial name, such as my starter, or it can be the full name, such as Anguirus. Everyone give a warm welcome to Professor Oak, who has been with us since Pokemon Blue, which oddly enough is where I first joined the Pokemon team, which I call Team Pokemon. As far as character creation, I'll go ahead and select the female avatar as I usually do. My name is Jessie, and you will see why later. My rival gets an embarrassing nickname as per tradition dictates. Now, have you noticed how Professor Oak seems to be really forgetful? So does he really work at this lab? Or is he one of those guys who's retired but's gotten really bad Alzheimer's? So the people there just let him come in? Just kind of like, oh hey, it's Oak again. Everyone just let him be, he's had a rough time at the retirement home. We also continue the tradition of playing with whatever game system we have in our room as our very first action in the game. Then we go downstairs, talk to Mom, go through that rigmarole, find out that Professor Oak wants to talk to us. Because of course he does, that's every Pokemon game ever. Well, okay, I don't leave town, I leave my house. It took me a minute to remember that I need to leave town before the professor actually triggers and talks to me. But I eventually did. Really, that's just rude. Honestly, Professor, why do I have to leave town before you come back and talk to me? There are 2 buildings and a lab. There's not much here where you can freaking hide. Now I went ahead and rolled a die for this part. I rolled a d10 and it came up with a 9. So I came up with the Pokemon Charmander and I named it Charzilla in honor of the greatest Kaiju of them all, Charmander the Godzilla. Now it's a standard rival battle. He picks the one I'm weak to, we fight, and this is the reason I go ahead and count my run starting when I get the Pokeballs. Professor Oak needs to shut up. With my rival handily defeated, it was time to go to Viridian City. But the journey there is completely boring, and let's skip it. I visit the little Pokemart. I get told that there is a package for Professor Oak that needs to be brought down immediately. At that point, I have to go ahead and leave Viridian City, go all the way back down, talk to Professor Oak, find out I'm the bestest trainer in the world so far, deliver his parcel, come across Lazy Boy again, go through this conversation, get the Pokédex, get 5 Pokeballs, thereby officially beginning my run, go to my rival sister Daisy, get a town map, leave her place, go up north again to Viridian City, go into the tall grass, where I run into my first Pokemon, or my first Poké friend rather, Rattata. I catch this wild Rattata and name it Anguirus. Thankfully, I happen to like Rattata. I mean, I like all the Gen 1 Pokemon because that's what I grew up with, but I mean, look at him. He's just so cute with that little nose, that little twitchy nose. But anyway, I go back up to Viridian, visit the Pokemon Center. Now, once I leave the Pokemon Center, I actually head to the east to Route 22 where I catch a Mankey. I actually had a bit of problems naming this one, as there aren't very many Kaiju who use fists as their primary fighting technique. I eventually meet with Jet Jaguar. Now, after Route 22, I went ahead and went north, which of course I came across an old man who's supposed to be part of the tutorial. I don't care, old man. As you can tell, I was positively thrilled by going through this bit of tutorial, even after I've caught Pokemon. This is the weakness of the older games, where they didn't have any way you could turn any tutorials off, so you go through them every single time. But nevertheless, I went ahead and head north to Route 2, and where I find a Pidgey. It took some convincing via Charmander scratches, but Pidgey eventually happily joined our little group. I hummed and hawed a bit, but really there's only one name I could actually pick: Rodan, the flyingest kaiju of them all. Since I recently captured all the Pokemon I can get right now, I went ahead and visited the Viridian City Pokemon Center once again. Now, since I have some really low-level Pokemon, I actually need to grind them and level them up. Now, it is time to do some training. What I will do is I will grind on these Rattatas and Pidgeys. I will get experience and what are known as EVs. EVs are special stats that give Pokemon bonus points. So for example, after killing 4 Rattatas or 4 Pidgeys, or a combination of each, I get 1 extra speed point. I will not do this often, I will do this when it's convenient. Otherwise, I'm simply grinding on the same Pokemon over and over, and that gets really boring. About 45 minutes, it was time to head to Pewter City. To do that, I had to go through Viridian Forest. Of course, I chatted a bit, but once I got inside, it was absolutely time to check the tall grass. And I found a Caterpie. I was actually a bit nervous with this Caterpie because looking at Rattata here, Angerus is actually quite a bit higher than Caterpie, so I was afraid that I'd take it a bit too far. But thankfully, I managed to nail Caterpie. At this point, it was basically just a quick toss with the Pokeball, and Caterpie was mine. I named them Mothra because of course I did. Now, even though I went underneath that level cap, I had a rather easy time in Viridian Forest. I guess I'm just that awesome, I can't put my finger on it. It was here that I realized that I was not in what's known as set mode. Set mode prevents your Pokemon from changing out each time your opponent does. This way you are set to whatever Pokemon you have. This makes the game a lot harder. I did manage to get Mothra to evolve into a Metapod while I was in Viridian Forest. The rest of Viridian Forest was uneventful, of course. And once I got to Pewter City, I walked around a bit, and of course, it was back to this patch of grass for some training. It was during this training session that I got Charzilla to evolve into a Charmeleon, which I guess has to do a lot with the fact that I kept switching to my highest Pokemon whenever my other Pokemon got low. So Charmeleon handled all the experience. After about 45 minutes of that, I took my level 9 Mothra and made it all the way to Pewter City Gym, where I got to face Brock and his associate What's-His-Face. Is when things started to go south. And Onyx immediately hits me with Rock Tomb. It's super effective. I go for Metal Claw again. But here's the thing. Onyx is not dead yet. I can hit him with a Metal Claw. Sure, absolutely. I can do that just fine. Now I'm in crit range. I'm in death range. So I switch out to Jet Jaguar. I really wasn't going to risk my starter like that. I mean, that's just the smart play. If Jet Jaguar dies, fine, but I really doubt he would. I get to take the running shoes for myself, which, alright, good, I can run twice as fast. Metapod evolved after fighting some of the trainers and finally, Mothra herself can grace us in her wonderful form. Wonderful final form, rather. Second Dragon Ball. And I caught a male Nidoran, which, funny thing, I named him Baragon for 1. For 2, I actually did not realize how strong he was. So I left him in the box for a long time. But I went into Mount Moon, and I came across a Geodude. I've named him King Caesar, because I'm already running out of names that easily fit the creature. Baragon was easy. He had a horn in front. Baragon has a horn in front. It seemed to fit. King Caesar? Just something I pulled at random. Absolute random. I went ahead and rolled dice for the fossils and went ahead and picked up the Helix fossil. Leaving Mount Moon, I talked to these two good fellows and wound up teaching Mankey both Mega Punch and Mega Kick. It actually served her well for a bit. Did the patch of grass outside of Cerulean City and managed to catch a Spearow. I actually named it Birdon this time. Believe it or not, Birdon is actually a Kaiju. I was shocked when I heard it, but I went with it because it fits. My rival went down with hardly any fight. It was actually quite easy. Don't get me wrong, it was easy, but look here, I stopped paying attention to Jet Jaguar's health. I hit him with a low kick, it doesn't work. I still don't realize just how low his health is. So I hit him with a Mega Punch. It actually takes a large chunk of his health away. Large-ish for a fighting type. And now I see the problem. I quickly switch out to Mothra. Now I am very aware that Mothra right now is 4 levels below that Squirtle. Her Confusion, her best attack right now, is not doing much. I'm getting hit with water gun, sure. But at the same time, my defense is rather low and I'm getting hit hard. Now I got lucky with the critical hit. That's fine. The water cannon right here? Oh my god, I'm sweating right now. Thankfully, I took out Squirtle. Thankfully. That's what it said. Oh my god! Now, I know how lucky I got during this fight. I know how low of a level I am before going into Misty's gym. I'm going to go up this route and go ahead and fight all these trainers. Which works fine until the Team Rocket Grunt battle. Now, I do have Magikarp in front just to get Magikarp some experience. Now, there ended at Manda after a long dragon type Kaiju. Now, I know I'm poisoned with Rodan, but I can't use any cure poisons because that would take a turn. I'm like, okay, I have 29 hit points. I should be fine. He gets poisoned. I use a Gust. It should hurt him, but he gets poisoned again. Then he... No! Oh, I should have been more careful. Rodan, no! Hurts himself. I did not realize just how much that could hurt him. Now, I know you can hear that chirping, but what I'm doing is using the speed up function because right now I am tired at this point. I've been grinding for hours. Of course, now I have to take Birdon out and grind him, but what I have to do is pick up an item and I get another Pokemon off to my left. Which will be... and it's a Campershane. I didn't see him in the grass, so he just ambushed me. I figure it's a quick kill. Mana goes out first, of course, gets their experience. I didn't go to change Rodan yet, so I sent out Angutis. I figure Hyper Fang. It'll be quick. Sure, Tail Whip, I don't care. It's fine, it's fine. Hyper Fang. Oh, that was worrying. Oh, no! Angutis! So quick attack, only find out he's faster. Which, I lost another one, and I just send out Mothra to kill him. Yes, and I gave Mothra a potion by this time. Campershane, with Campershane gone, I was free to collect whatever Pokemon I could find. On that note, thankfully, I managed to grab a Kakuna, who, of course, I named Batra, because of course I did. Thankfully, I managed to kill enough bugs to where Manda evolved into Gyarados. Which, finally, I managed to get Manda evolving into Gyarados. It could have been easier if I did it later and caught Magikarp with. After a few battles, Batra evolved into a Beedrill. Route 25 gave me an Oddish, which I quickly named Biolante. Trainers on Route 25 were good prep work for Misty Gym, but the real meat of this route is actually Bill, who seems to have gotten himself trapped in a Pokemon's body, which seems to have saved himself on a fortune in fursuits. Wouldn't they actually be Pokesuits? I'm actually not sure. All I know is I want cat ears and a tail. After I get him separated, he gives me a ticket for the SS Anne. At this point, Misty's gym. Biolante actually helped me sweep this gym with a rather ludicrous amount of the Absorb ability. They hurt me, I suck energy from them, I heal myself, and it's all good. Now, as for Starmie, however, I actually went ahead and kept Biolante out, and when Biolante managed to get out of confusion and absorb some bit, I realized how much trouble Biolante was actually in. So, I did the smart thing and switched to Gyarados. With the Gyarados Bite ability, I was able to actually clear out Starmie, and I got the move Water Pulse, which I will add to Gyarados here soon. It just doesn't click in my head yet that I need to. Right now is about the time where I realized just how good Nidoran actually is, so I took Baragon out and replaced him with my Oddish. I was making my way to the daycare center when I caught a Meowth, who I promptly named Sekhmet, after the Egyptian goddess of war. Also, one of the new Kaiju in Godzilla King of the Monsters. I fought my way to Vermilion City, where I managed to find an old rod which I will never use, because it only catches Magikarp, which I already have Magikarp. Birdon managed to evolve into a Fearow, who then promptly killed the Drowsy I was trying to capture. A quick trip to Diglett Cave yielded a Diglett, who I promptly named Methuselah after one of the Kaiju in Godzilla King of the Monsters. After that point, it was time to head to the SS Anne, where I probably forgot that there was a healer right inside. She's literally right there, off to my right. I completely forgot about her and began fighting trainer after trainer, and then I fought my rival, received the Cut H. On a side note, look how small these rooms are. Do you really think it's a good idea to summon a 60-foot long water dragon in here? It used Surf. It's likely soaked that room. That water is likely run down the wall. On top of that, the other guy summoned a fire Pokemon. How is this ship not destroyed by now? Oh, and it gets worse. I actually summoned magical creatures inside of the kitchen. Think about a large 60-pound bird flapping around in a kitchen. How unhealthy is that? On top of that, in all these 30 or so trainer battles, my Geodude caused an earthquake. Magnitude 10. There was literally a magnitude 10 earthquake in the middle of a ship. Out in the middle of a dock. How is this ship not torn to pieces? And why is there not any kind of Pokemon arena inside of a ship? Could it be that Pokemon battles inside of a ship are actually quite dangerous? Nevertheless, with the ship falling apart at the seams, it is actually time to go ahead and head to Vermilion City Gym. On that note, I actually swept this gym quite well with Geodude, since he had Magnitude at this point. But on top of that, that little puzzle that he has, it just took me longer than it should have, because whereas in blue it was always off to the left, this one it's random. And I kept getting it right in the middle, so I had a 25% chance of getting it right every time. It took me 3 different freaking times to get it. Thankfully, King Caesar turned into a Graveler. I caught an Ekans, and named it Skullcrawler. Well, actually I named it Skullcrawl because the ER would not fit. By the power station, I caught a Voltorb. Quickly named it Baragon for no other reason than I picked a random name out of the list of Godzilla Kaiju. Now is the worst part of the game, the part I was dreading, Rock Tunnel. Now, I know there was the idea that they would help control player progression with things like HMs where they would lock certain parts of the game behind an ability. Flash is one of the worst abilities in the Pokemon series. It doesn't do anything in battle, and it's only useful 1 or 2 times outside of Rock Tunnel. I don't think it's ever useful outside of Rock Tunnel. So what I went ahead and did was just look up a map and go through it. With Surf, you can use Surf. I'm fine with that. You can use Surf in battle. You can use Surf outside of battle multiple times. It accesses a new Pokemon, but this sucks. Now, for those wondering, yes, I did catch this Zubat. I named it Warbat. Keep in mind, I'm probably not going to use it right away since I've used Zubat a lot in my Nuzlocke and I want some variety. But it's in the box is all I'm saying. After finding some Pokemon nerds who actually have no fursuit budget whatsoever, I mean, they're on their way, and I admire them for the craftsmanship that they do possess, as well as the determination to make it, but it's not my thing. Says the guy curious about a pure Meowth. I mean, they can live how they want. I just question the fact that they meet in caves versus a house where they won't get mauled by wild Pokemon. Nidoran evolved into Nidorino, which I will use the Moonstone on Nidorino once Nidorino learns Horn Drill at level 16. I finally made it to Lavender Town, which, can I say, I've always loved this music. Now, with that being said, I also love the way this tower just comes up out of nowhere. But after a well-deserved Pokemon Center trip, I went ahead to route where Nidorino learned Horn Drill. And, finally, he got the Moonstone. Once in the tall grass on Route 8, I was able to catch a Growlithe, which I named Manila. Now, unfortunately, there was a little bit of a training accident with this Nidoran. I actually played it a bit too close, wasn't watching carefully, and tried to take out this Nidoran. Unfortunately, it didn't work. It backfired bad. This Mega Punch right here should have worked. Instead, I got a critical hit. As right now, I am absolutely feeling Jet Jaguar's success. I can do it, I can take it, and he missed. He utterly missed. Of course, the double take crits, and the poison took him out. Whoa! No! That's bad. Oh, Mankey, no! As I managed to finish it off, I needed an electric type, so I went ahead and picked Gabara. Rest were all Mankey. After that, it was pretty much going down Route 12 to train up my brand new electric Pokemon. And can I just say that in this little outpost right here, when you go up the stairs, there's this trainer right here who gives you a TM27 because her Pokemon died. It's actually quite sad. Next up is the Celadon City Gym. In theory, this gym should actually be terrifying. I have Pokemon at low levels, and she actually has quite powerful plant attacks. Except I have a Charzilla, who absolutely swept the gym, and there's not much to see. At that point, it was pretty much going to Game Corner to fight Team Rocket, which, on that note, why in the heck is he running down the stairs to tell the boss? The stairs that I'm going to go down right now. Overall, Game Corner was actually easy. I just basically used King Caesar and his ground type moves, which turns out most Pokemon in Team Rocket are actually weak against. Even if it wasn't the ground type moves they were weak against, it was the massive 4-ton boulder. Giovanni here also went down, so let's move on. With Giovanni's defeat, I got the Sylph Scope, and it was time to move on to Pokemon Tower. I just really kind of hope that the Pokemon that have died under my care really aren't going to be here. I am also not sure if this woman is talking to me or somebody else. With that spirit vanquished, it was time to get a new Pokemon for my team. This Ghastly volunteered and quickly took on the name Jet Jaguar. Welcome to the team again, Jet Jaguar. You all know the drill by now. Defeat the ghost. Once that is done, realize that Graveler's weak to ground. Switch to Gyarados, use water. Go upstairs, defeat the Rocket Leader. Then get the Poke Flute. Wake Snorlax, then fight him. Capture him, name him Kong. Capture a Venonat, hit the wrong button, and forget to name it. I mean, I'll just rename him later with the name writer, but it's just one more thing I have to do. Find that one scientist with the experience share, figure out how short I am, leave, visit the Pokemon Center in Fuchsia City, and my problems began when I entered Fuchsia Gym. I figured that I was high enough to where I could grind some easy experience on these guys, only to find myself wildly outclassed by a level 38 Hypno. My problem right now is that I have no idea what to do. I'm not sure I have anything that can help fight Psychic, that is resistant to it or anything like that. Now, my biggest problem right now is that I don't know what Meditate does. And I'm thinking that the Psychic is special attack instead of regular attack. I can see where this is going, even though he used Headbutt. At least I figured that with Dig, he could miss half the attacks. And he goes to Dig again, and Psychic is used. And he goes down. Head and send Gabar out. I'm hoping to paralyze him, since Gabar right here is my highest Pokemon right now, or at least one of the highest, that I'm willing to sacrifice. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that much. A little bit of poison gas, and I'm not doing so hot, but I'm still good. Gabar's hurt by poison. Fine. 83 out of 94. Keep using Shockwave to paralyze. And it doesn't work. Meditate is used again, and I'm not quite figuring out that Meditate raises his attack. So, he's hurt by poison again. I don't do anything. I use Sonic Boom to get a quick kill, only to find out it doesn't work. Psychic again, and that bastard gets a critical hit. Oh, no! I do something I should have done in the first place. Use Manda to have their Intimidate cut down Hypno's attack. I went ahead and used Dragon Pulse to take out Hypno. Thankfully works. Take that, you psychic freak. That I never got to get. Now I am down 2 Pokemon. Thankfully, Snorlax is level 30, much akin to my other Pokemon, so I pick him as an choice. Now I also pick Zubat, who unfortunately is level 17, which means there's a lot more grinding to do. I don't mind leveling up Pokemon. It's fine, it's part of the job, but Zubat's level 15, he needs to be level 30. I'm going to have to spend all that time running back and forth to the Pokemon Center because the Pokemon I level Zubat up on aren't going to be that strong. On top of that, as far as his EVs go, where I go to get the speed EVs are only like level 4 Pokemon. That's not going to work out. Now, as far as EV training, all the Pokemon I know that have my preferred speed EVs are actually level 4 right now. That's not going to work out. Now, I get to the Safari Zone and I'm getting an idea. If I catch enough Pokemon, I can actually get that stupid experience share. Now, there is the tiny problem of the one catch Pokemon clause, but I have a plan. If I catch a bunch of Pokemon I can't use, and just label them don't use and toss them into another box, I should be fine. Parasect. Awesome. I label him don't use, I get another Pokemon. And keep in mind, species clause. This means that I can skip that Parasect, so I get another one. And I get a freaking Chansey. It's awesome. I like her, she's cool, and she gets in the ball. Really, that's the quality I look for in a Pokemon. Get in the ball and stay there, as well as be quite strong, and quite durable. Now, with that being said, I found out later that she only has a Double Slap. So I'm having to head to the Pokemon Center every 5 battles. I eventually make my way to the secret house and get the Surf HM. Now I go ahead and wander around here a bit, catching more and more Pokemon to get to that number of 50 to help me level my Zubat. Outside of Fuchsia City, I caught a Ditto. I went ahead and named him Destroya after the famous Toho monster. I gave the security guard water, which in turn allows me to enter Saffron City. I managed to go ahead and get 50 Pokemon, including the one I got from the Game Center. I went ahead and bought Dratini. With the advent of defeating Team Rocket, Charzilla started to evolve, and you know what that means. I can start my plan for world domination. Now, it's going to be a hard road, and I still have a few badges to go, even in the Kanto region, but once I beat Elite 4, I can get started on that, and then prepare for trouble and make it double. But before that, I need to start gambling. This is because the TMs and a Pokemon I need are behind the paywall inside of the Cell non-gaming area. Now, I'm going to go ahead and allow myself 1 Pokemon because this counts as my Celadon City encounter. I'm going to go ahead and pick Dratini because Dragonite is awesome. And I keep going and going and gambling and gambling and gambling. And oh my god, so much gambling. There was so much gambling. I eventually just gave up and bought all my tokens. But oh my god, I can still hear that in my sleep. Once I got through with that, I found out that Saffron City had a bunch of these Team Rocket guys running around. Visiting the Saffron City Silphco company, I found my rival and Team Rocket. I went ahead and dispatched them easily with no casualties. As you can see here, I am currently creating a barbecued Alakazam. Charizard ate well that night. Koga's gym had a bit of an issue. I went ahead and used Birdon against a Weezing. Now, you might realize that Birdon is actually a Fearow, and Fearow does not do well in battles on the late game. I did not realize this. And he got poisoned, of course. Now I decided to go ahead and fly real quick because I think he can handle it. What I forgot was that Weezing is going to hit him on the way back. So you see him fly, and Weezing used to tackle, then Birdon goes down. There were no other casualties. Blissey started to evolve, but her evolution stopped. I found out that she could not evolve into Blissey without the national dex. As a result, I went ahead and switched her out for Kong. Right now, I pretty much have my endgame team already. In spite of that, I went ahead and picked up that Eevee right here and named it Shin after the Shin Godzilla movie. Kong absolutely helped me sweep Sabrina's gym single-handedly. Jet Jaguar helped me conquer the fighting gym. Gyarados helped me surf my way through Blaine's gym, and I did this little island side quest right here. And after that, it was time for Viridian City Gym, which, I mean, I have a Gyarados who knows Surf. I mean, it wasn't that hard. I went right through that. Now, after that, it was time for the Elite Four. Victory Road was rather easy, except for all those stupid random battles. It seemed like every 3 steps I took, I kept getting battled. Now, because of how slow it was, I went ahead and leveled everyone up to level 58 with rare candies that I cheated in. Now, I went with level 58 because that seemed to be a good middle road. I was tired of it being a sweep every single time. First up is Lorelei, of course. By the way, this music, I went ahead and forgot to turn the music back on. So I went ahead and edited it in post. Lorelei went rather smoothly. Now I went ahead and switched out and made my biggest mistake. As you can see here, I should have switched to Scylla. Instead, I switched to Ghidorah, which I'm going to let you think on that for a moment. Think what my biggest mistake is. It's not this. There's a hint. Now you can kind of see this hint right here. I'm going to go ahead and Hyper Beam because that's my highest attack right now. I actually get rather far with this one. But even though it's a Jinx, it goes down. Now, her last Pokemon, this is what really killed me. Ghidorah needs to recharge and BAM! Lapras is going to be... Oh, crap! Aww. Other than that, Lorelei was actually a complete success. After that, a quick switch to Scylla led me to, well, get hurt by spikes for one, and Perish Song proved useful here. I went ahead and had Scylla tank her next 2 attacks, and after that, switched out to Jet Jaguar. Now, as far as Jet Jaguar is concerned, he actually helped me sweep Bruno. Like, completely. The only real issue I had was right here at the end with Hitmonlee. He got sighted, but I tried to use Psychic to take him out quickly, only to find out that barely didn't do it. Another Psychic, however, let him use a freaking full restore. I mean, come on, dude. That's just not cool. Psychic Hurt again. And got him most of the way down. Which, alright, fine. I went ahead and used Shadow Ball because I'm running low on freaking... And the Mega Kick comes. I was running low on Psychics, and the Mega Kick comes. Thankfully, I went ahead and managed to get a Shadow Ball in, but man, that was close. As far as the Spooky Ghost Lady, this kept happening. I would switch into an elemental Pokemon, try to use a move, and get put to sleep. I'd switch out to Scylla. Use an elemental move like, say, I don't know, Surf, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Hypnosis, I fall asleep. This kept happening over and over and over again. I finally managed to win when I started to use Awakens. Because, quite frankly, my Pokemon used this when they were asleep. That Gengar finally ran out of PP for Hypnosis, and once Charizard woke up, after I used a full heal on him, I had Charizard use Flamethrower, and it went ahead and took out that Gengar finally. It was so nice and so cathartic. Yay! I was so happy to see that Gengar go down in flames. By the way, did anyone else notice how ostentatious Lance's hallway is? I mean, there's statues lining the hallway. Dear God, man. Drop the ego just a bit. Now, with Lance, I just kept Ice Beaming him. Well, kind of. You can see here where the Ice Beam itself gets a critical hit and barely takes out Gyarados. However, instead of using another Ice Beam, which I only have 10 of, I switched out between that and Surf, and finally managed to take out his entire team. Though I will admit, I went ahead and used Surf against Aerodactyl, because Rock, of course. But the Ice Beam against his last Dragonite, that took that out rather quickly. And it was so satisfying. And as far as my final battle with Lazy Boy, can I just say how weird this music is right here? Like, I mean, it was easy for the most part. Like, this Pidgeot right here, Ice Beam. Easy. And his Aerial Ace isn't going to do much. I'm an Ice type. Against a bird. Which, by the way, it's really weird that the Flying type doesn't get resistant against Ice. Or Ice doesn't get resistance against the bird types. Like he said on his right on, fine. Ice again. I mean, that's easy. And boop! Super effective. Right on goes down. Scylla gets points. Kong gets points. Executor. Okay, fine. Ice. I mean, Ice Beam on the Lapras. I just swept his first 3 Pokemon. Mostly. The Sleep Powder, that was annoying. I would either have to take a turn and do it, because Lapras is also water. So I switched out. Which, Charzilla seemed to be the most obvious choice. As right now, I know he's going to use Full Restore, and there it is. Which, by the way, I know that I said I'd use 2 Full Restores. I did not realize that he has 3 Full Restores. Blast Burn, and now that was good. See? I only forgot the recharge time. You can see where this is going. Out comes Blastoise. Oh, crap. I saw it was coming, and I was not happy. Ah, fuck. Admit, that blow hurt. It hurt badly. So I went ahead and picked out Kong. Because, frankly, I'm thinking that with the rain Kong is the only one who is actually going to be tanky enough to take out Blastoise. Now, I went ahead with Body Slam just to see how it did. Which, alright. Now, I went with Hyper Beam this time. I know I'll go last, and I'll take a couple of hits, but I think Snorlax can take it. Now, I'm also aware of that cooldown, and this caused me to scream, basically. 1 point away, and he used a Citrus Berry. And a full restore. Thankfully, with 2 knocked out Pokemon, I'm going to go ahead and use more, but I will do it later. Because remember, it's 2 plus the amount of dead Pokemon. So I'm up to 4 I can use. If I need to, I will absolutely use the potion stalling technique this time. Or heal stalling as it's known. Now, I'm not taking a chance of a critical hit at this point. I mean, with Charzilla stomping on cities in heaven right now, I really am not in a good mood. Hyper Beam again because, quite frankly, look at all that health. Look at how much Hyper Beam did. By the way, I much prefer the old Hyper Beam where it's one singular look or one singular line versus this little series of dots. And I'm wondering how much I can take. Because, man, that's spooky right there. Thankfully, I won't. Thankfully, get to go to my bag. I'm sorry, I just edited that Death Scream and, man, did that rile up the feelings. By the way, this whole editing experience was my first big project. It was a lot tougher than I thought it would be. I'm really regretting not going into film school back in the early 2000s like I should have. Oh well. You can see the rare candies there from when I drew them out of the bin. I just couldn't take all that grinding anymore. Brick Break in the hope that it can actually do more. Because I know Snorlax right here is a physical attacker. Brick Break is physical. And I'm thinking, oh good, the rain stopped. And I'm not willing to do rollout. So that commits me to 5 turns. And I don't think he can do that. Once again, he's with a sliver of health. The rain starts to fall. Go on, guess what happens? Guess what happens? He is heal stalling me. The arrogant prick. That is something I should be doing against him, not him against me. I think he got that mixed up. It's easy to do. And this rain, though, all this rain, taking out that, making this Hydro Pump really big, and I can't figure out why he's using Bite at the moment. I was confused because his Hydro Pump's a lot better. Then I realized I healed stalled so much that he is out of PP for Hydro Pump. I am so used to the early games when your enemy did not have any maximum amount of moves for theirs. Again, full heal for the little Lapras, because I'm thinking I have this now. I should be good. Thinking about it, and of course I go with the Body Slam. And thankfully the Paralyze went off. It was a pleasant surprise for me. I forgot it could do that. And finally Blastoise is down. Oh, it was such a relief. So not only did this editing take so long, but the writing too. It took a lot longer than I thought it would be. And screw you, Alakazam! With the reflect bullcrap. Take a Hyper Beam. To the face! I have noticed a lack of death here, and I don't think he took enough of that Hyper Beam to the face to die, and I blame him for that. Fun fact, I spent so long grinding that I almost forgot about my own rule. I had to go back and learn about it in the video editing when I edited the rules. I'm like, oh yes, I did make that rule. I had planned to spend a week on this, but it wound up taking a month. And that was just grinding. That was just me sitting here grinding on Pokemon, training up the EVs. Now, I will actually be more mindful of EV training in the future because I was concerned more with leveling up as quickly as possible versus, say, concentrating on Spearows and Rattatas for speed. I like my teams light and speedy. Just fighting that Alakazam. You can eat him as a pancake. Now, I was actually surprised how much Kong right here can take those mental moves. Or those psychic moves. Because I could have sworn that he was weak to those. Because of his normal type. But, hey. And of course, I bring out Scylla. Who's going to help me surf my way to victory? I also realized... Oh, right, I used Hydro Pump this time. Because I am not in a mood. But I have actually learned how to do some of those non-combat moves, because I know I was deleting those in favor of the quick take them out as soon as I can. But with that, I hope everyone enjoyed my first Pokemon journey. I hope to do more of these in the future. I'm looking at a Heart Gold Soul Silver Nuzlocke playthrough. I'm wondering if I should make it randomized. I'm wanting to hear your opinions on that. I'm also wanting to do some things on different games, as well as different reactions to movies, as well as historical documentaries, mainly focusing on Black history. Primarily in the US, mind you. Now, I hope you all enjoyed again, and my Patreon is down below. Once I get to 50 Patreons, I'm going to make a Discord server. But until then, everyone, please have fun.